Are you ready to try some freeze-dried candy?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Welcome back, and today we are in our living room outside, and we're about to enjoy some freeze-dried candy.
Chamoy.
Oh yes, chamoy. Like my sister said, not just any candy, but freeze-dried chamoy candy. So if you have never heard of this, get ready.
They're so good, you guys, and so crunchy. Alright, you guys, little fun fact about freeze-dried candy and where it really originated from. It actually started back in World War II because they were trying to like freeze-dry some of the blood or whatever.
Yeah, plasma.
Yeah,
plasma
okay, I was like something like that. But yeah, which is kind of interesting that it had to start off in World War II.
Preserving blood and not preserving food. That's like a
big
whole
change,
transition.
yeah.
All right, so the freeze drying process, how does it work? First of all, you need a machine. What kind of machine? This type of machine. Once you have this machine, you need candy or any type of food. You just put it into the machine, and then the machine does the rest. What it does is it freezes it. Once it gets to the freeze, once frozen, it then begins to dry, and once it dries, it expands. At least that's what happens with candy. Some other food ends up shrinking, but with candy, it expands.
So now that you've heard those two fun facts, let's finish off with another one. Another one is that because you can freeze dry a lot of food items and a lot of different other things, it does allow them to have a longer shelf life. Guys, so one of the benefits for freeze drying candy or freeze drying food is that you are able to preserve them.
And they last way longer.
Yes. Depending on what you are trying to preserve though, you have to preserve them in certain ways just because some of them do need, like for example, we do throw in some of these little silica gel packets to help with the moisture, but of course for other things you might need more or just different things to be able to actually help secure them and make sure that they actually that they last long for you.
Yes, correct. Yeah, because personally what we've experienced is that with like such things as the Skittles, they freeze dry perfectly and they'll last a long time. But things like rings, depending on how you store them or if they freeze dry, I guess not correctly, they end up getting chewier as you know they sit longer.
They kind of start reversing the process, but they're still in the new form.
Yeah, so you'll get that freeze dried crunch bite, and then it ends up being chewy at the end.
And that's not what you want.
That's not what you want. Yeah, but most treats will end up just being crunchy. That's what we've noticed. Yeah.
So now that you guys know those fun little facts, we're gonna be trying these out for you guys and giving you guys a little description on what they taste like and how the texture is actually for them, because I know a lot of people are probably like curious as to what freeze-dried candy really is if you've never really tried it, and much more if it's chamoy freeze-dried candy, because it is a lot more different than regular freeze-dried candy. The sweetness is still there, but there's a little bit more flavor to them.
Are you ready to try some freeze-dried candy?
Yes.
Yes. All right.
Okay guys, I'm going to be trying the freeze-dried peach rings. So for these we do... Okay guys, I'm going to be trying the freeze-dried peach rings. For these we do start off with a base of a peach ring and then go ahead and lightly coat them in our chamoy and a chilito mix. And then from there we go into the freeze-drying process to get this right here. To get this right here, as you guys can see, it literally doubled its size. It's a lot more like airy and it looks crunchy, so I'm gonna go ahead and try it out for you guys. As you guys heard, it was super crunchy. I feel like the flavor of the peach ring really comes out right at the end though, and at the beginning of that bite you get more of that tangy like chamoy chilito kind of flavor. So I feel like it ends up tasting kind of like if you were eating like fruta or something with like tahini on top of it, even though it comes like in the little like puff form, like the Lucky Charms kind of puffs. So I really like these. I think out of all of the ones that we have, these are up there, but they're not my top favorite. I'll show you guys at the end which ones are my top favorite though.
Alright y'all, now I'm gonna be showing y'all and trying the clusters. Freeze-dried cluster Enchilositos. So this is how they look. Oh my god, look at that. Let me try and get it clear. There we go. The chamoy definitely gets soaked up in there. Like I said, the moisture gets sucked out of the candy, so you're not really gonna see the coating, but the chamoy is definitely in there, as y'all can see with the red and the specks. The chilito, everything's just in there. So let me try this out for y'all. Get ready. This one's gonna be super airy. Trust me, watch. This one tastes super fruity. It really gets the flavor of the cluster. Usually the cluster, the gummy, is just very chewy, but in this one, it just gets super airy.
Next up, my favorites out of all of the ones that we have in our freeze-dried collection is gonna be the freeze-dried Skitts and Enchilositos. So these are starting off with a base of Skittles, obviously, but then coated in our chamoy and chilito mix. I do think these are pretty much y'all's favorite too, from the people that have ordered our freeze-dried candies, because these are like some of the ones that sell the most. Here's a little bit of a close-up on them. As you guys can see on these ones, the chilito is super visible, which I love, because I feel like these ones are literally just like perfect with a mix of the chilito, our flavor, and then just the puffy base of the candy. Even the crunch on these, I feel like is like a 10 out of 10. Let's go ahead and try it out for you guys. Yup. These ones, I feel like are fruity and sweet at the beginning, and then you get that flavor at the very end, which is kind of crazy, because I feel like for some of the other ones, I get our flavor first, and then that sweetness kicks in at the very end. Literally my favorites. Just look at them, you guys. Super perfect and crunchy. And then to describe a little bit more on that consistency, either it'll remind you of like the little marshmallows that come in like Lucky Charms, or kind of like that Cheeto texture, because they are super like crunchy, like airy. Some of them even melt in your mouth though right after you kind of get that first little bite, which I love. They're so good. Alright you guys, that is it for the video. If you guys made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Also, little surprise, of course, that was our freeze-dried collection, but we do have other treats on our menu. Like we just launched these blue sour rash gush enchilositos and
Sour mango gush enchilositos as well. So
if you guys are a fan of our flavor but want something a little bit sweeter and not too crunchy like our freeze-dried treats, then these are gonna be literally perfect for you. We did focus on more of a sweeter taste, but of course our little like tangy flavor is still included in these, but just for people that like more sweet than the heat.
Oh my god. Ooh. Those still look mouth-watering.
Yeah, they do.
I'm about to go finish this bag right now. Let's go.